Hey Knights, it's been a while since I've done another lemon, and I was specifically asked by the author to do a first reaction read again, like I did with the Sebastian one. So this one is Undertaker and Reader, and I'm quite excited to read this because Undertaker is my favorite Shinigami or Grim Reaper when it comes to the Black Butler series. So I'm very, very excited and very nervous to see how it is because he's my favorite and she's my favorite author. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, Undertaker and Reader. Reader's point of view. I walked into the cinematic records library. It's perfectly quiet in here. It's the perfect environment to read the news story I found. I heard it was really explicit, so I can't possibly read it while my big brother William is around. Yeah, William T. Spears is my big brother. I curl up and began reading my book, and did my face turn bright red just 2 chapters in. I sat in the deepest corner of the library, my eyes wider than plates as I continued reading. I felt my eyelids growing heavier as I relaxed in the big white chair. I fought as much as I could, but without really noticing, I passed out, my book on my lap open on the last thing I was reading, which happened to be a very interesting part. Okay, so this is like a dream segment here. I open my eyes, and the first thing I see above me is an unfamiliar ceiling. It's a tan vaulted ceiling. My hands splay out and feel the surface beneath me. I feel plush covers and shiver as I realize that I'm in very little clothing. Just my lace black bra and matching lace panties. Before I can react, I feel calloused fingers grazing my legs and moving up my body. I moan in response to the sensation. Nix, you're so beautiful like this. Hee hee, I hear a familiar voice murmur. I let out a breathy moan as the hands massage my sides and move towards my breasts. My eyes slide down to the person and I see a mass of gray-white hair. He glances up at me and his green-yellow eyes meet my eyes. Undertaker, don't stop, I moan softly as his lips place kisses up my torso. Oh my gosh. He hovers over me just before his lips touch mine. Oh my god, that's like 50 Shades of Grey. Oh my god. But it's so sweet and so cute. See, this is why she's my favorite author. Undertaker's point of view. I was returning some cinematic records as I reached the back of the library. I saw someone curled up asleep in the big white sofa. As I approach, I see that it's Nick Spears. I see that she has the book in her hands, and when I reach for it, my hand brushes against hers. She moans softly. Oh. Oh. My eyebrows rise slightly as I begin to read the book, mumbling it under my breath. I lay on the bed in just my lace black bra and matching lace panties. Before I can react, I feel smooth fingers grazing my legs and moving up my body. You're beautiful. You're so beautiful like this, I chuckle to myself as I continue reading. Suddenly, Nyx lets out a shaky moan. I look at her in surprise. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna die! Oh my gosh! Oh! I shake my head to clear my thoughts as I continue reading. I let out a breathy moan as the hands massage my sides and move towards my breasts. He glances up at me and his eyes meet my eyes as I moan out, begging him to continue. Undertaker, don't stop! Nyx moaned out. Oh my god. I stare at her in shock as she squirms and let out soft moans. Before I know it, she jerks awake, gasping with labored breath. I gaze at her for a little while as she doesn't realize that I am next to her. I feel a small smile spread across my face as I begin reading aloud. Oh my god. It's so good, but it's so naughty. Raider's point of view, I dreamt that my best friend and my secret crush was doing those things to me. Then it dawned on me. I wasn't alone anymore. And his tongue invaded my mouth as his hands gripped my sensitive breasts. My, Nix. I had no clue you read such books. Nor did I know you talk in your sleep. Undertaker sat beside me, his wicked grin wider than ever as he turned in my direction. Busted! My eyes grew wide as he was now holding my book, reading it. What are you talking about? I don't talk in my sleep, I stammered to get my sentence out clearly, knowing that I do indeed talk in my sleep at times. I hope I didn't say anything about that dream. Dear Nix, what you said in your sleep was rather scandalous. Scandalous? I hope your dear big brother never hears that. Undertaker leans forward and licking my cheek slowly. I was too stunned to move. Oh my god, if that happened to me, I probably would faint right there. That's all I had to do. I'd faint. Red face and faint. My face would probably become as red as Grell's hair. I felt goosebumps cover my body. I shivered in response. What are you talking about? I don't talk in my sleep, I yell in defense. You certainly are overly defensive. Want me to tell you what I heard? He asks as his hands crept up my leg. I narrowed my eyes as my answer. He laughed a little, then leaned back. You were moaning and calling my name, and saying, don't stop. So, what were you dreaming about? I saw one of his eyes peek from behind his fringe. My face was burning red as I remember seeing those eyes. Nothing. I wasn't dreaming at all. You know, Undertaker, I think you have completely lost your mind now. So if you'll just hand me my book back, and you can go back to your work, and I'll just go bother William some more. I reached for my book, but Undertaker pulled back, my chest against his as I reached past him. You were dreaming. You can't hide that from me. Now. He said as his hands gripped my side. I stiffened as I realized that I was now in his lap, pressed flushly against him. My face flamed redder than before as I tried to disengage myself from him, but he wouldn't let go. Tell me what you're dreaming about. He pressed against me, and I gasped in reaction. Undertaker? I gasped as he gazes at me, his bottom lip pouting a bit. You know that's my weakness. Won't you tell your favorite person in the whole wide world what you were dreaming? Pretty please? He asks as he hugs me to his chest and began rocking side to side. I was being shaken to no end. He knew I couldn't stand this. All right, fine, I'll tell you. Just stop shaking me. Jeez, I yelled as he finally stopped shaking me. Undertaker's little giggle. I can't do that, because if I do, it does the Undertaker no justice. I can't do that. Undertaker laughed as he held me still against him. I was dreaming that I was on a bed, and then I felt hands on me in sexual ways, and then I woke up, I mumbled out. You know what I think, Nix? I think you were dreaming that I was touching you. As he spoke, his hands moved slowly up and down my sides, slowly moving my fingers across your bare skin. His fingers slipped beneath my black top, caressing you into a bliss beyond belief. Undertaker pulled my chin so that I was looking into his eyes. His bangs were pulled back. Nix, I know we've been friends for the longest, but I don't think I can refuse myself the pleasure of taking you for myself any longer. He leaned until our foreheads were touching. I let out a shaky breath. Then don't, I whispered. That was all he needed to hear as his lips crushed against mine. His hands gripped my body closer to his as I moved to accommodate a better position. Oh my gosh. My legs on either side of him as we kissed deeply. His hand slid down my back to my asses. He ran his nails up my lower back. I moaned into the kiss, the sting of pain mixing with the anticipation of pleasure to be. Oh my gosh. Oh. Nix, Undertaker whispered as his lips trailed down my neck. He lifted my shirt as his nails scraped across my back. Swiftly, he removed the shirt, and his lips attacked my neck once more, licking and sucking. I moaned out, my hands tangling into Undertaker's hair. His hat long gone on the floor somewhere. Oh my gosh. I tugged at his long hair, earning a groan, as he quickly removed my bra and began massaging my breasts. As soon as I moaned, his lips connected with mine, and his tongue claimed my mouth. My hips ground into his as our kiss grew more sensual and passionate. Undertaker, I moaned as he takes one of my nipples into his mouth, sucking, nipping, and licking me. He switched as I began unbuttoning his shirt, and he quickly shrugged it off. His hands moved to my breast, and he pinched and twisted my nipple. I moaned out and ground into him harder, feeling his erection beneath me. His hands quickly gripped my hips as he pushes me off of him. He stands and removes his pants and boxers. He reaches mine and quickly rids of my pants. I blushed and tried to cover myself a little as he stared at me. His hands grabbed mine and our fingers intertwined, his lips brushing my knuckles. Don't hide from me, Nix. His free hand spreads my legs, and I shiver as he leans down, his face near my most precious area. So beautiful, his deep voice rumbled as I felt his hot breath on my core. Oh my god. I propped myself up as my eyes met with his. His tongue snaked out, and he began licking my wet pussy. My eyes rolled back as I whimpered from the tantalizingly slow strokes of his tongue. Undertaker, stop teasing me, I moan out, my breath irregular. Whatever you say, my dear Nix. With that, he began lapping up my juices and sucking relentlessly. I threw my head back and my hips began to move with his assaults on my clit, his tongue swirling around. Without warning, his tongue dipped into my entrance, earning a surprised yelp as his hand was holding my hips down. His nails raked across my stomach, causing me to shiver as he latched onto my clit, his eyes still gazing into mine as he licked and sucked faster and faster. I longed to move my hips with his menstruations, but his hands held me in place. As he sped up again, I felt a coiling in my lower abdomen, and my moans grew louder. I screamed out his name, though it sounded rather broken, and I felt my release explode from my body and into his mouth, and he gracefully cleaned it all up with his tongue. I mewed and shook slightly from my orgasm. Undertaker licked and kissed up my body. His lips paused at my breasts as he softly licked and sucked, and then he continued up to my lips, and he kissed me deeply, his tongue tasting my mouth as his arms cradled me close to his chest. I placed one hand on his chest as my other hand trailed down, gripping his hard member. He groaned into the kiss, and I began stroking him slowly. I pushed him back so that he was sitting on the sofa, and I knelt in front of him. I tentatively licked the tip lightly, tasting his salty pre-cum. Nix, I don't know how much more I can take. I need to be inside you. He gripped my shoulders and pulled me into his lap, positioning me so that his tip was at my entrance. One hand slid to my hips as the other held his dick. I slowly lowered myself onto him. I groaned in pain as his large member stretched me. I remained still as I adjusted to him. His lips brushed over my lips, my cheeks, my nose, and my eyes. He moved and began kissing my neck and chest lightly, trying to ease my pain as I got used to him. I rolled my hips into him. I gasped at the immense pleasure. Undertaker, I moaned out as his hands gripped my hips. He guides me up and down on his length, his lips attacking mine, and his arms moved to wrap around me as I got the hang of riding him. My hands tangle into his hair, and I pull him closely to me. I moan out as I feel my release coming quickly. Undertaker flipped us in a flash, my back on the couch and him hovering over me. He slowed down his thrusts as I wriggled underneath him. Beg for me, Nix, he whispered into my ear as he licked the shell lightly. I shuddered and whimpered. Undertaker, please, I moaned out. Please what? He slowed until he was barely moving at all. I protested and squirmed again. I moaned loudly. Undertaker, please, make me come. Fuck me so hard I won't be able to walk. Oh my god! I gasped as Undertaker began pounding into me hard and fast, his lips attaching themselves to mine as his hands ran all over my body. one hand gripping my leg and pulling it over his shoulder as he breaks the kiss. He brushes my silver hair back from my forehead, his signature smile spread across his face as he gazes at me. You are so beautiful like this, beneath me, Nix. I blush at his words as he leans down and kisses me again. I feel my walls tighten around him, and he groans and speeds up. I feel the tightening. Undertaker, I moan out as I come hard onto his member. Nix, Undertaker groans out and fills me with his cum. A few more thrusts as he rides out our orgasm. He pulls out, holding me close to him, as he places his cloak over us, and I snuggle into his chest. I hope this was more than just a fling for you, because I love you, Undertaker, I boldly confess to him and hide my face. His fingers lift my chin so that our eyes met. Nix, I don't do flings. You have been my best friend for the longest time, and the whole time I've loved you more than words could ever describe. He leaned in and kissed me softly. All our emotions poured into each other. I felt myself yearning for more of him again, and he moved so that he was on top of me again. Undertaker, what's wrong? I ask as he gazes at me in silence. Nix, let me make love to you this time, he asked as his hands caressed my bare skin. Instead of speaking, I pulled him down and pressed my lips against him and moved my legs so that he was between them. I felt his tip at my entrance, and he pressed it into me. I moaned softly. My mind was blown. We acted out of lust in the heat of the moment. But this? His movements were slow and intimate. Our moans were soft and whispered, like a sweet secret between the two of us. Undertaker broke our kiss, and he began moving softly and sweetly into me, his arms holding me close, and he whispered into my ear, sweet nothings. That is so sweet! It's so cute! Aww. I pulled him to me and kissed him again as I felt my release coming again. He picked up the pace a little. My back arched as I came again. He thrust a few more times, and then his seed filled me. He rolled over some and held me closely. He pulled the cloak back over us, and I rested my hand on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. I felt myself drifting to sleep. I love you so much, Undertaker, I whispered sleepily. I felt him rumble as he chuckled lightly. My dear Nix, he whispered and pressed his lips against my hair. I love you too, so much, he whispered as I drifted into sleep. Third person's point of view. Little did they know about the black-haired reaper who had gone in search of his sister, and what he found was the end of a very intimate moment between a gray-haired reaper and his silver-haired sister. He turned and left, not knowing what to do. He left the library quickly, his presence completely unnoticed by the two lovers. Okay, first off, poor Will. He probably did not need to see that. He already has to deal with Grell enough, but having his sister, if he had one, oh, the poor guy. Oh, but oh my gosh, that was awesome, and I loved it. I want more. Oh my, okay. Oh, wow, that was awesome. Reducky95, you have blown me away once more with your awesome writing skills, and I'm so happy that was the first reaction. Oh, I probably squealed more than I need to. Alrighty. Peace out, knights.